A very good noon to all of you. I welcome you to this session. I hope I'm visible and audible. All right. A quick confirmation from your end would be good so that we can begin. Okay. Okay, so I welcome you to this session. We are going to talk about TISSNET today, right? So now that is done, we can focus all our energies on TISSNET, right? Some of you must be taking MHCET also, so the notification for that is also out, right? The notification for the exam date. So these two exams, fortunately, hi Vignesh, hope I'm visible and audible. Hi Satyansh, hello, good noon. So fortunately, hi Tilti. Hello, Ayushi. Okay, all right. So I was saying that fortunately for TISSNET and MHCT, the preparation is a little similar, right? Because both the exams ask you vocabulary, grammar, reading comprehension passages, para jumbles, right? Both the exams have this in common. So that's why today I'll talk to you about TISSNET, but whatever you listen to will also help you for MHCT in case some of you are taking it. Okay. Yes, SNAP results are out. Hi, Harshika. All right. So, you tell me, what do you know about TISSNET so far? Yes, you also must have done some research from your end. What do you guys know so far? What kind of an exam is it? Easy, moderate, difficult? How many questions? Yes. So, we are going to talk about how to prepare for various English topics and what your exam strategy should be for these English topics, okay, for the English section. So, that's what we are going to discuss today. Right. So, let me begin. For current affairs, Poonam, so Poonam has asked this very pertinent question about current affairs. See, of course, GK, general awareness, as TISSNET calls it, is the differentiator in your exam, right? And I mean, the difference in students' marks is usually on account of general awareness only in TISSNET. So you have to prepare for it. Very rigorously, no substitute for that. And that is why we have been conducting general awareness sessions for you over our YouTube channel, right? See, be it any exam, be it IFT, be it ZAT, right? Be it any other exam that asks you general awareness or GK, right? The point is that the preparation is going to be similar, isn't it? So in all the exams cases, we are going to do static GK, dynamic GK. So you already have some sessions for GK available on our YouTube channel, and we are going to conduct more also in the coming days. So stay tuned. Okay. And for GK, for current affairs, if you ask me, you can see BYJU'S exam prep also offers you a GK compendium, right? We offer you a GK compendium. So download our app, download BYJU'S exam prep app, and there you will find month by month GK compendium also. Okay. So this is one source that you can refer to. And apart from this, you can go for various yearbooks, right? Like we have Manorama yearbook, we have, okay, Pratyogita Darpan is there. So these are again for current affairs, these are yearbooks. So you can go for these. The idea is that you should be very well versed with what all has happened in the past 6 months at least, right? So that is how you prepare for GK. This is my humble opinion. I see, I'm not a GK expert, so I would suggest that you attend these sessions. There, our GK experts will guide you very properly as to what all to prepare for. Okay. Okay, all right, all right. 30 questions on verbal ability. It's an easy to moderate paper, Manish, right? No negative marking, right? 10 questions each from vocabulary, grammar, RC. Absolutely, Tilti. So we have all of them in TISSNET, right? And all of them in a good proportion. Correct, correct. 30, 30, 40 questions, 40 being from general awareness. How to prepare for static GK? Again, for static GK, you do get you will get material for it in our compendium also. You get material for it from various yearbooks also. And in the sessions, our experts have talked to you about in the previous sessions as to which all areas you need to prepare for, right? So, let's say from art and architecture, what do you need to prepare for, right? From famous personalities, what all is generally asked. So, all of that has also been discussed. So, that is why I'm saying just refer to those sessions. Okay. Hi, Aniket. Hi, hi. All right. Okay, so let's begin. Let's talk about the TISSNET pattern. Right. You all know these things by now. It's a computer-based test, 100 minutes for 100 MCQs. So a pretty straightforward equation, 1 minute on an average per question. But of course, we will devote relatively less time to English, right? So that we have slightly more for our quant section, right? Now, no negative marking, that is also there. So this is a very big feature of TISSNET that you have to keep in mind, that there is no negative marking. So even if you are not sure about a question, you should make a calculated guess. Okay, you should not leave it, right? No point in leaving it. And this is what we are expecting. Last year it happened on Feb 26, if I'm not wrong. So I am taking that into account. And like my perception is that you do have about 25 days in February and 20 days, 21 days in January left with you, right? So the session will be keeping that in mind, right? That you have about 45 days of prep. Okay. Now coming to book recommendation. No, Jasmine, I won't recommend one particular book for TISSNET, but in case you took NMAT, then some of you must have the NMAT official guide. That will help you a lot for vocabulary and grammar, right? Because I'll show you that some of the question types are pretty similar to what NMAT also asks. So that can help you. Okay. Now, coming to our the section wise breakup that you've already given me. So 1 mark. So accordingly, the marks are also like this 30, 30, 40. No sectional cutoffs, which means that you can maximize your score in whichever section happens to be your strength. However, for GK, they do have a cutoff, right? So if you are from the general category, you need 14 marks out of 40, right? That is there. Now, the point is that even though there are no sectional cutoffs, yet you can't think that, okay, I'll not attempt anything from English, right? You do need certain marks from here also in order to maximize your score. So, what is the kind of score that you need? Let's talk about that. If I talk about the cutoffs, let me just come to the cutoff slide once. Right. So last year it was 67 on 100, right? 67% marks. Okay. And prior to that year, I am talking solely about the HR course. Of course, it differs course wise. And prior to that, it was 73.83. In in various years, we have usually seen it to be 70 plus, right? Last year, the paper probably was difficult, and that is why it reduced to 67. So my point is that we are targeting about 73, 74, 74 ही हो गया ये, right? 74, 75% marks we are targeting, right? And if you are somebody who is decent at English, right, at the English section, then in that case, you should target about 75, 80% marks from there, right? Not less than that. So we are targeting somewhere around 23, 24 out of our 30 marks. Now, the good thing is that this time TISSNET has mentioned the syllabus of the English proficiency section. I'm sure some of you who have explored the website have seen this syllabus also for all the sections. In case you haven't, please do. That will form the framework of your preparation. So as you can see, we have grammar, sentence correction, word choice. These are grammar questions. Odd one out, analogies, synonym, antonyms. These are vocabulary. Then they've separately written grammar also, right? So in grammar, anything can be asked. That's what they mean. Verbal reasoning. When they say verbal reasoning, see, this is something that I have written in the brackets. That includes critical reasoning and parajumbles. Okay, so you have to prepare for these as well because they came last year. And ask these, they are always there, right? So this forms the syllabus of your English proficiency section. The overall, that's what I told you. This is the overall cutoff, Vignesh. Just a couple of them, Jasuman. Questions we'll solve just a couple of them. Today is more about your strategy, your preparation, right? Okay. Now, this was the breakup of TISSNET 2022 English section. Okay, so as you can see, fill in the blanks based on prepositions. Fill in the blanks based on vocabulary. Does it remind you of other non-CAT exams? Yes, it does. NMAT also asks FIBs based on prepositions. ZAT also, in fact, in the previous years has asked questions based on prepositions. Vocabulary, fill in the blanks based on vocabulary, a very common staple question type of various non-CAT exams. So there's nothing different in TISSNET English as such. Okay. Um, all these topics you have prepared for if you have prepared for any of the non-CAT exams, right? So CR, parajumbles, three questions last year from parajumbles, and that's to your advantage because there are options, right? Error spotting, a very common grammar question type. Verbal reasoning. Here, by verbal reasoning, I mean course of action, cause effect, statement conclusion, statement assumption, those short little questions on logic, right? Parts of speech, there, why have I written this separately? You had to identify the part of speech, whether it's a noun, pronoun, etc. Antonym, synonym, again, direct vocabulary. See, modifiers, that means in grammar, they are not just sticking to, let's say, parts of speech. They are going a little further. They're asking you questions on modifier and parallelism as well. So you have to prepare for these two topics also. Just parts of speech won't suffice. And RC passage, of course. 5 plus 5, two RC passages last time with 5 questions each. The difficulty level of RC is usually low, Jasuman. They are not very tricky. It's a mix of direct and inference questions. I would not say that they're all direct and they are not all inference either. It's a mixed set of questions. However, if you've prepared for CAT, if you've prepared for ZAT, if you've prepared for NMAT, any of these, then you will be able to tackle TISSNET RCs. Okay, RCs are not the challenging part of TISSNET, right? Yes, for language, you need to go for vocabulary, grammar, logic, RCs, all the four areas, right? Uh, that way, TISSNET, TISSNET has always been like this. It asks all these four areas. The sessions for MHCET are about to start very soon. In fact, we had a strategy session yesterday itself, Sidhesh, and in the coming days, it will be MHCET. Don't worry. Okay, you'll have a lot of sessions. Like cat or okay. So I have answered this, Anifa. I hope it's clear now. So 30 questions in all, and this is the breakup. I hope you've noticed the number of questions also. So a lot of FIBs last year. However, that does not mean that this year also it's going to be the same. Okay, but usually TISSNET sticks to the basic question types. I haven't seen very innovative question types like the ones you encounter in, let's say, IIFT, that it gives you some innovative question types in vocabulary, right? Kabhi crossword de diya, kabhi kuch aur de diya. That thing I've not seen in TISSNET. And usually, their aim is to keep the paper also accessible to everybody from every kind of background. That's why you will never encounter, I mean, if you look at the past year papers, extremely difficult English in TISSNET. The idea is to make the paper accessible to all students from all backgrounds. Okay. Now, how much time? This is a big question, right? Because you have to manage your own time. So, out of the 100 minutes that you have, how much time should you devote to the English proficiency section, as they call it? Primarily, it's VARC only, right? What do you say? 100 minutes you have. See, general awareness, of course, will not take 40 minutes, right? It will not take that much time. So, you will have some time from there as well. Let's say you spent about 15 minutes on those 40 questions. Okay. So, then you are still left with a lot of time that you would have allocated to those questions that you can divide among VARC and mathematics and logical reasoning. Still, I would say that you need not spend more than 30 minutes on the English section. Okay, this is the maximum. This is the minimum that I suggest for a student who's good at VARC or for a student who's good at English section. 22 minutes is required because RCs will take approx 12 minutes, right? 6 minutes per RC, if I assume that. RCs will take about that time. And 10 minutes, 30 seconds, let's say, per question you need for your VA part, the vocab, grammar, and logic part. So minimum 22, I would say, if you are good at English, and maximum 30. Within 30, you will be able to complete the section comfortably. Okay. Welcome, Siddesh, and thank you. So let's divide it topic by topic. Yes, Tate, I've already answered this. From where to cover vocabulary? Tilty, this is coming. Is it titly or is it tilty? I am confused. Not at par, Yashasvi. It's lower. The difficulty level is lower for RCs. Okay, so vocabulary, let's talk about this. See, what you have to do in the coming 45 days, you have to target high frequency words. Okay, look at your past year papers, you will not encounter very literary, very archaic words. As I've said, the aim of the paper is to remain accessible to everyone. So they will target those words, they will ask those words that are used frequently. Okay, so word par made easy, you can comfortably finish it if the exam happens towards Feb end. Okay, so please go for it in case you still haven't gone for it, despite my saying this a million times for all the non-CAT exams, right? So this is one book that will benefit you a lot. And trust me, there are no shortcuts when it comes to vocabulary and grammar. Students always look for hacks. Hacks can help you only to a certain extent, to a certain level of accuracy. But ultimately, it's learning more words that can guarantee more success in vocabulary questions, nothing else. Second, very interesting ways to play vocabulary quizzes. I've always suggested this. Okay, so on our app also there are vocab tests that you can take. Okay, and then there are a lot of other apps that are there that are dedicated to vocabulary quizzes, right? So for instance, Vocabulary Builder is one app that I suggest time and again. You can go for that. So I think even if you do just these two things, I can suggest you 100 things for vocabulary, but even if you stick to these two things for building your vocabulary in the coming days that you have, that should suffice. Okay. And by suffice, I don't mean that, okay, you will become a master of vocabulary. Nobody has been able to do that, to achieve that feat. But yes, you'll acquire a decent pool of words in these coming days, right? Now, the question is that, okay, fine, I have built vocabulary, but I should be able to apply it also, right? I should know how to tackle questions. So, in fact, your previous year papers, the memory-based papers are available online. They will first make you learn a number of words when you solve these papers, and they'll also expose you to various question types, right? Any different question types, any difficult words. Look at all the four options there. What is the meaning of the words given in all the four options, and not just the question word. So do practice previous year papers, and not just TISSNET. All your non-CAT papers can help you here, as I've always said for various non-CAT exams. Even early CAT papers can help because they also asked contextual vocabulary questions, right? So do refer to the previous year papers. They will form a major source of your practice. Then a lot of vocabulary question types are available on byju's.com, byju'sexamprep.com, both the websites. So you can refer to them in case, let's say, you feel I'm not getting questions, मुझे vocabulary questions चाहिए और, then you can refer to the website. You'll find them there. Apart from this, I have conducted so many vocabulary sessions this year. I've lost count. So many top 50 vocabulary words, so many high frequency word sessions I've conducted. So you can watch those sessions, the ones that have already been conducted. And of course, I will be conducting more in the coming days. And that will also help you to widen your vocabulary pool. Okay. All right. Everything. Okay. So Jayasuman, see, then maybe the exam day strategy is what you need to work on. In case, let's say, you feel that your preparation for vocabulary is up to the mark, up to the mark. And if I look at your NMAT, let's say, the NMAT that happened this year, um, the limited number of vocabulary questions that were there in SNAP, and even if I look at that, that was recently concluded, I did not see words that were particularly challenging by themselves. The questions can be challenging. So, for instance, one fill in the blank that came in that became challenging because of the options that were so close. Otherwise, the words were not difficult there. Words were like relations, construct. You know the meanings of these words. You know the meaning of relations, right? Of construct, exchangeable, commercial, saleable. You know these words. So the point is then it comes down to application. And fortunately, in TISSNET, you will not face such a big challenge there because the question types themselves are what? Synonyms, antonyms, direct vocabulary, fill in the blank, such a common question type there, right? Analogy, odd one out. You have done these question types. So hopefully you will not face this challenge in TISSNET, and I think when you solve the previous year memory based papers, no, you'll understand what I'm trying to say. English difficult इतनी नहीं होती है TISSNET में. Okay? All right. Now, any test series, Pavan? There's no specific test series just for these exams. You'll have to purchase the test series that has all the mocks, right? Now, questions repeat होते हैं क्या? Sometimes yes, it may happen. When did this happen? In some exam, this happened that a word in Snap this happened last year that an idiom from the previous years got repeated, right? So it may happen. For instance, in TISSNET, I have included a question today, and I have often seen this concept being tested. So sometimes, the similar grammar concepts are tested time and again. So this has happened. That's why I've included that question today itself, right? We'll see. Okay. Uh, Take your TISSNET mocks regularly. Now, how will this help beyond learning new words? I have written this in the vocabulary preparation segment. See, of course, you'll be exposed to new words through mocks, but this will help you beyond that as well. You need to evolve a strategy for TISSNET, considering that, okay, you have to manage your time, considering that GK is important. So, you need to evolve a strategy. And that is why you need at least at least five mocks you need to take. Okay. This will help you in understanding which section happens to be your strength. Although I'm sure by now you know this, which area happens to be your strength. But given the level of questions that TISSNET asks, you need to see this. No, what if let's say English is not your strength, but because you find TISSNET English too easy, you realize that you are better at English here. So it's taking the mocks that will help you evolve a strategy and also help you understand where you stand in terms of GK, right? So do take mocks. Through that also you will learn vocabulary. On the exam day, see, you should go for vocabulary and grammar questions first in English, in the English section. That is a given, right? Um, because after that, what is left? Critical reasoning, parajumbles, and RC passages. So, critical reasoning parajumbles take relatively more time than vocabulary and grammar, usually, and RCs take even more time. So, we should go from time saving to time consuming, always, right? So go for vocabulary and grammar first. Apply grouping and elimination. Those of you who have already attended even some of my sessions know what I mean when I say grouping and elimination. And I'll show this to you also. Right. If you're still not sure, still make a calculated guess. Don't leave it unattempted. Make a calculated guess and proceed. Right. Some students, think there is no negative marking, so they are duty bound to attempt each and every question with 100% sincerity and accuracy. That's not possible. There are going to be a couple of questions that are difficult for you. So please don't overthink, don't get stuck, okay, in questions. If you're not sure, if you've narrowed down to two options, but it's a 50-50 there, even let's say after 50 seconds or so, then just mark one, make a calculated guess, and proceed. Okay, all right. Now, look at this question here and tell me which word fits. This is a fill in the blank based on vocabulary. Yes. What do you say? Zenifa says C. Uh, Congratulations, Ayush. Refer to our session, okay, the one about expected cutoffs, and Srinivas sir conducted a special session on college cutoff percentiles. Okay, refer to that and you'll get your answer. Okay, now a lot of you say C. I hope you haven't Googled these words. Okay, and you've actually looked at the context, right? After hearing the bad news, his face looked even more dashed than usual. So, this person has heard some bad news. His face would, of course, not be happy, it will be sad. Okay, so more something more, and I need a word that means gloomy, sad, etc. Right? Ridiculous does not fit. Right? Ridiculous is something that's absurd, that's also amusing to some extent. But that does not fit with this idea of gloomy. Eliminated. What about this word, ludicrous? What does this mean? Ludicrous. So here, this is a synonym of ridiculous. It's just a fancy word for ridiculous itself. Okay, so these two are synonymous here. So this is what I mean by grouping. That's why I included this question to show you what is grouping. If these two words have the same meaning, then if A does not fit, then B also does not fit, isn't it? So eliminated right away. So you group, you eliminate. Now, between C and D, jaunty. Jaunty is the opposite idea, okay? It's the opposite of gloomy. It means lively, cheerful, okay? So, lively, cheerful, and I do not need that in this. So, here I eliminated on the basis of the fact that, okay, does not fit the context, plus they are synonyms. Here, on the basis of the tone, right? This one has a positive connotation, it means lively and cheerful, whereas I need a negative word here. So, lugubrious is the word that fits, and that is our answer. It means sad, gloomy. Okay, so this is how you group and eliminate based on a synonym antonym approach, based on a connotation. This is called connotation, positive, negative connotation approach, right? And through this elimination, you arrive at the answer. Good. C is the answer. So I'm happy that quite a few of you got this correct. Good, good, good. All right. Yes, do if let's say you are taking away something from this session, then do press the like button. It means a lot to us, right? I should not have to repeat this. Now, grammar. So this was about vocabulary, right? You need to work on your high frequency words. I've suggested you the sources also, and you need to practice from your previous year papers. For question types, you can search. As I said that on our website, you will find various question types. You will find various vocabulary question types in the sessions also. Okay. Now, for grammar, what is it that you should do? What all are you asked to identify? See, you are asked to identify parts of speech, whether it's a noun, whether it's a pronoun, etc. Right? You can be asked questions related to articles also. Fill in the blanks based on articles. An, the, right? Then subject verb agreement errors, right? Where the subject and the verb do not agree. So if I say I has a book, there's a subject verb agreement error right away, right? So when you are thorough with your parts of speech, no, you are partly, you're part of the preparation for subject verb agreement also happens, right? Because if you're well versed with the pronoun I, then you realize that the verb has cannot come with the pronoun I. So you are basically here paying attention to nouns and pronouns when it comes to subject, and here you are paying attention to verbs. So this is complementary, but there are certain 14-15 rules that you need to be aware of for subject verb agreement. Okay, they are there in any standard grammar book. If you study them, this topic at least is sorted, right? Parallelism and modifiers errors. We saw a question of modifiers in the previous years. Now, these two are new topics. Okay, you may not have studied them in your junior classes, so make sure that you study at least these two topics, right? Parallelism errors, modifier errors. From where can you do all this? Let's have a look. कहाँ से ये सब कर सकते हैं? I said that any standard grammar book works. So Wren and Martin definitely works for this. It has parts of speech, it has subject verb agreement. It may not have modifiers and parallelism. For that, you can refer to this website, guide2grammar.org. That has both modifiers and parallelism, error questions, and also the concept. You need to understand the concept also. right? Then for any queries that arise during your preparation, or when you attempt a question, you don't understand a concept, let's say, then for that you can refer to British Council's website, learnenglish.britishcouncil.org, right? So you need to prepare for grammar. Maybe you have approximately a month, and in that month, trust me, you can cover all these three topics that I've suggested to you. Okay, so you just need to devote some time, some amount of time every single day. That's what you have to do. Now, again, the question is that, okay, fine, students tell me that, I know the concept, I know parts of speech, but I'm just not able to apply them to questions during the exam. For that, of course, you need to practice. You need to be well versed with application. तो अभी से practice भी करना पड़ेगा उसका. Mocks से practice करो, previous year question paper से practice करो. I told you about the NMAT official guide. That will help you tremendously for grammar, right? And of course, on our YouTube channel, I have already conducted a lot of grammar sessions. I am going to conduct sessions, right? So we keep on coming for sessions, okay, on various topics. Vocab grammar particularly, do attend those, right? So this is about your grammar prep. Now, how to tackle grammar in the exam? That is also, an art. If you, if let's say, I'm allowed to borrow that phrase, how is it an art? I have seen that students, because they are used to speed reading through RC passages, they tend to speed read in their grammar questions also. In grammar questions, speed reading does not help. Because if you are looking for an error, if you're trying to find a flaw in a sentence, unless you read it carefully, right, with a magnifying lens, unless you read it carefully, how are you going to spot that error? So read the sentences relatively slowly. Okay. Then, in case you get such questions, although in TISSNET, these are not very common, but let's say you get such questions where there are multiple sentences, right? Uh, which may or may not have an error. And then your options read like this: A and B are erroneous, B and C are erroneous, okay, or A, C, D are erroneous. This is how your options look like. In such cases, read all of them first, read all first, okay. Then let's say you feel, okay, B has a very glaring error. B में तो पक्का error है. You are pretty sure about this. And you've been asked to identify the correct sentences, right? Then you right away eliminate these two. But always start with that sentence about which you're very sure that, okay, this one has an error. So you eliminate 1 and 2, and then you evaluate 3 and 4. Okay, so this is how you have to go for the combo options. These are the combo options. This is what I meant by combo options. In sentence correction, where let's say a part of the sentence is underlined and then it is written in 4 different ways. You do have such questions. Either a sentence is written in 4 different ways or a part of it is written in 4 different ways. Instead of reading horizontally there, read vertically. What do I mean by that? Spot differences. Let's say she is standing, she is standing at the roof. Okay. No, at the ground karte hain. Okay. Let's say. Okay. And this part is what is underlined. Now, let's say this has at, this has in, this has on, right? So, you see that there are differences, and when you read vertically, you spot these differences. So, that's the idea, that you spot these differences and then you eliminate the ones that you feel are outrightly incorrect. You get it? So this is how you should proceed in the sentence correction questions. Sentence correction, combination questions, error spotting, and of course, elimination is something that you apply in all these question types. Right? So this is your exam strategy for tackling questions. Now let's have a look at a fill in the blank. This is the one that I was talking about. The TISSNET has asked this, has tested this concept time and again. So I thought to bring this question. I will be bringing a lot of error spotting sentence correction questions also, okay, in the coming sessions. Let's have a look at this. Tell me what the answer should be. A very easy question. Yes. Jasuman, I'll answer this. Answer this one first and I'll answer your question then. So see how easy this was, isn't it? Uh, Now, in such a question in the exam, how much time will you take? You'll take about 15 seconds at the most, right? So in your VA part, some of the questions are going to be really easy and you will score there and you'll save time there. So don't think that, okay, how will I attempt two RC passages plus 20 questions in a span of 25-30 minutes? It is pretty much doable because you'll have questions like these as well. D, okay, I've got one C also. Right. Basically, this is here I need something that shows possession, isn't it? I need something that shows possession. Actually, I need a possessive adjective here. If I go into the depth, I need a possessive adjective here, something that describes this book but also shows possession. Okay, so who apostrophe S? What does this mean? Who apostrophe S is a contraction. It is simply a contraction of who is. It is a contraction of who is. And in informal English, sometimes even of who has. So who is book is this does not make sense. Who has book is this does not make sense. Eliminated, eliminated. We're left with whose. And it fits also because kiski book, right? Whose book. So possessive adjective I have used. It is so old. It is so old that its pages. Again, I have to show possession here again. I have to show possession again here. And similar to who apostrophe S, it apostrophe S is also a contraction of it is or it has. So even this cannot work here. It is so old that it is pages are falling out? Not at all. So D Delhi is the answer, the only possible answer choice, right? So a very commonly tested concept, a very easy concept. You should be well versed with such questions. Okay, this is testing your knowledge of pronouns primarily, right? Pronouns act as adjectives. So here it says acting as an adjective. It's a pronoun acting as an adjective, right? So pronouns, adjectives, these concepts should be clear to you for such a question. Okay, now how much time to devote for TISSNET preparation? One is that it will be governed by your current level of prep. So in case you're somebody who has prepared for non-CAT exams, then I think let's say if you're doing word par, I'm just giving you a reference. Okay, you may not be doing word par, you may be solving some vocabulary tests. You would need about 15 to 20 minutes for let's say one chapter. So this is your vocab prep time every day. Then for grammar, see, there are 8 parts of speech, then there are articles, then we have this topic subject verb agreement and modifiers and parallelism. So in all, how many topics? We are talking about 10, 11, 12. 12, 13 topics we are talking about, right? So I think these 12, 13 topics should take you about 2 hours each, right? So that will be what? 26 hours to be very precise, right? For your grammar. Okay. Then when it comes to your verbal logic and RC prep, you have already done a lot of it for your CAT. Okay, for CAT you have prepared for parajumbles and RC passages. So I think just solving the previous year papers for RCs will suffice. Right. Apart from that, for critical reasoning and parajumbles, I'll just tell you. Critical reasoning and verbal reasoning, I'll just tell you what to prepare for and then you can see how much time you need. Right. So just give me a couple of minutes. I am coming to verbal logic. Okay, so here it is. These are the areas that you have to prepare for. Parajumbles, critical reasoning, verbal reasoning. In verbal reasoning, we have concepts such as statement assumption, statement conclusion, course of action, cause effect, etc. These sorts of short little questions, right? Now, I have conducted sessions for these topics separately also, and I have conducted a lot of verbal reasoning combined sessions also. Okay, so if you search on our YouTube channel, you will find them, right? So even if you attend these sessions, in each session, I'll cover about 9-10 questions on each topic, right? So that will be like practicing 50-60 questions on verbal reasoning, and I think that should suffice. For critical reasoning, you need to build your fundamentals. Okay. You need to know how to attempt an inference question, how to attempt a strengthening question, weakening question. So you need to know the strategy there, right? So for these, again, you have to prepare. If you feel that, okay, these two questions, you're not at all acquainted with critical reasoning so far, then again, on our YouTube channel, you will find separate sessions also for these, and a lot of critical reasoning sessions also for various exams. So build your fundamentals, and these, let's say, if there are 5 question types: inference, strengthening, weakening, assumption, and let's add one more miscellaneous one, conclusion कर लो या फिर paradox, flaw, etc., etc. So there are 5 6 categories that we are looking at. So 5 6 sessions, or you could say 6 7 hours of preparation in building the fundamentals, and then it's practice. So you can practice from previous year papers. On our YT sessions also there will be practice questions, right? So this much time you will need for CR. Okay. CMAT is a little far away right now, so so right now the focus is going to be more on TISSNET and MHCT. Okay, we will be beginning with CMAT also. See, again, CMAT में भी बहुत overlapping prep है. Okay, MHCT, CMAT, usually students who take MHCT also take CMAT, right? Because again the preparation overlaps. You have vocabulary, you have grammar, you have parajumbles, all of that is there as well. Right. So you even if, let's say, TISSNET session is going on, you can join in. It will help you. For an MHCT session also you can join. Okay. With the cutoffs a little high. The cutoffs is actually, you know what, TISSNET is an easy exam. So when the exam tends to be easy, again, students tend to, first of all, there is no negative marking, so students tend to attempt a lot of questions. And the accuracy also tends to be on the higher side because the questions are on the easy to moderate side. So yes, that is what makes TISSNET challenging, particularly because of the fact that there is general awareness, which whose preparation is going to differ tremendously for every student, right? For quant VLR, the preparation is still similar. Yes. For general awareness, see, I may have done a question about, let's say, the Supreme Court CJI that you may not have done. Just giving an example there. So that is what makes this exam slightly difficult to navigate. Okay. However, I think with preparation and given that you apply, you divide your time well there, given that your GA preparation is fine, you can score 70 plus in TISSNET. It's not a big, I mean, it's not that difficult a task. I'll not say it's not a big feat, it is a big feat, but it's not that difficult a task. Okay. So preparation is what is going to make it easy for you. Now, for strategy, of course, you should go for your parajumbles questions before RCs because they're shorter again, right? They have options also. And even I go for CR questions also before the RCs because again they are shorter. They are singlets, so to say. That's how I like to call them. छोटे छोटे questions हैं एक एक topic पर. So I prefer these before RCs. And in CR particularly, use elimination. Okay. So these two strategy points when it comes to your verbal logic. No other strategies really required, right? And if you've prepared for parajumbles and CR earlier as well, then this is not going to be that difficult for you. We have not seen extremely difficult CR questions in TISSNET ever, right? When you practice the previous year questions, you'll realize that. So this is how I would divide the preparation. I would divide it topic wise: vocabulary, grammar, verbal logic. If I were you, I would study every day. Okay, and I would cover all the topics every day. Not think that, okay, in the first 10 days let me go for maths, in the next I'll go for verbal. That's not how it usually works. I would space my mocks very well. Okay, so I would space my mocks in such a way that I am able to incorporate some previous year papers also as mocks in between. I would take some previous year papers also as mocks. I would then, just populate your calendar. That's what I do. So populate your calendar. Okay, on this date, this mock. Then let's say after a week, this mock. So that way, right? I would take mocks very regularly. I would practice question types also, right? And in the exam or in the mock, when I'm taking the mock right now, I would attempt all the questions, of course. You do realize that, right? Always remember, practice makes a person perfect. So the more you practice, the more, let's say, mocks and previous year papers and question types you go for, the better you become. Okay, at least your confidence gets a tremendous boost. RC passages, I haven't seen extremely lengthy RC passages. However, the length varies. Okay, so it's not the same from year to year, right? So you can say on an average, you can expect a 500 word RC. This is average of all the previous years. Okay, in some years it has been relatively lengthier also. In some years we have seen shorter five question RCs also, right? I would say at least 5 mocks Zenifa. Okay, and in case you've taken a lot of other non-CAT papers, no, then 5 mocks along with some PYPs taken as mocks should suffice. Okay, so this is it from my end for today. And this is our CAT 23 comprehensive program. It is not just a CAT program, right? We prepare you for all the exams because we prepare you for vocabulary, grammar, critical reasoning, everything. Okay, and the link is there in the description for enrolling, and you can call us at this number. And this is there in the bottom bar, right? So as to enroll, right? Uh, then there is this session that's going to happen, how to manage your CAT prep with job or studies. A lot of students have this question. So in case you or any of your friend is struggling with this question, right, that, I am pursuing a very difficult undergrad course. How can I prepare for CAT with it? For instance, let's say someone is doing stats honors, statistics honors, a very demanding course, economics honors, demanding course. So how to prepare for CAT with studies, or if you have a hectic corporate job, then how to prepare for CAT with that. On 14th Jan, this session is going to happen. So do register for it. Okay, then you can attend it. That's amazing, Vignesh. Congratulations, congratulations. Thank you so much, and you're welcome. CMAT 2023, yes. So those who are interested in CMAT 23, you want to see how the paper is, you want to get a feel of the paper, then we have a mock for you. 21st to 29th January, it will be live, and you will have question-wise video solutions also. So again, the link is there in the description. Do register for it. Okay. Uh, and yes, do stay connected. If you are preparing for CAT 2023, you are a sincere aspirant, then you can download our app, because there we conduct very focused, informative sessions that are targeted towards CAT 23, right? So, also, we've had a couple of series on vocabulary there as well. So, even if you're preparing for non-CAT exams, they can help you. We have vocabulary tests also there, they can also help you, right? Do subscribe to the channel in case you haven't, so that you get notifications for any MHCT, TISSNET, CMAT sessions that I'm going to take in the future, right? And yes, stay connected with us via various social media platforms. This is it from my end for today. Okay, I'll keep seeing you with more sessions on TISSNET and all the other exams that are coming up. All right then, bye bye. See you.